Those who put money on free parking while playing Monopoly or some cheaters. With the food that you get in the The Office is the best show ever, don't at me. Michael Scott is the best boss, don't at me. Parks and Rec is almost best, but it settles for second, that's a fact, don't at me. But I'd rather live in Pawnee, Indiana than have to grow up in Scranton, Pennsylvania, cause at least the nightlife is poppin'. Snake Hole Lounge is boppin', and I'm me, Ron Swanson, don't at me. Laurel over Yandy, don't at me. Potter over Twilight, don't at me. Hermione over Bella and LeBron over Stephen, nothing over Jessica and Seven Heaven, don't at me. Dawson's Creek over One Tree Hill, Charmed over Gilmore Dill, don't at me. Sideshow Bob over Bob That Bills, 2% over 9 Fat Milk, don't at me. Pump subs are better than Wawa, don't at me. Killmonger over T'Challa, don't at me. Nutella's garbage, don't at me. Steve Harvey show over Martin, don't at me. Florida's not that bad to stay, don't at me. Citizen Kane ain't that great, don't at me. Traffic was fun, you just late, don't at me. Rollerblades better than skates, don't at me. I really like the new reason, don't at me. Takeover better than Ether, don't at me. Those who put money on free parking while playing Monopoly or some cheaters, don't at me. With the food that you get and the prices you pay and the size of the patties, the fries and the taste, compared to Shake Shack or Five Guys any day, In-N-Out's just okay, don't at me.
If you put that circle around that A, I might bring my circle around you, ayy. Everybody got something to say. If you disagree with me, better leave, have my name down. You won't, ain't gone, you can't, you know mine, you ain't, you late, better leave, have my name.
Cupcakes and cakes taste like different things, don't at me. Real talk. Tim Hortons over Krispy Kreme, don't at me. I won't lose a race and Need for Speed, Hot Pursuit, don't at me. There were smoothie places easily, Jamba Juice, don't at me. I bet when they were storyboarding American Horror Story, they got in the laboratory and made sure the boring oratory's only written for the 14-year-old when it's sorta gory. Use a fisheye lens and filters every form of corny, then perform it poorly. But they did a great job with OJ, don't at me.
The Knicks are the best in the league. Don't at me. Porzingis is resting his knee. Don't at me. Jackie Chan over Jet Li. Don't at me. I don't watch Dragon Ball Z. Don't at me. Aniston over Jolie. Don't at me. Mofongo's better than Beans. Don't at me. I don't think gluten's a thing. Don't at me. I've never seen Lord of the Rings. Don't at me. Michelle Obama is a G. Lemonade over iced tea. Havarti's the best type of cheese. I don't bless you when you sneeze, and I like The Godfather Part 3. Don't at me. Stranger Things Season 2. I'm happy Nancy and Steve are through, and if I'm speaking true, I think that Jonathan's the one that she needs to choose. Don't at me.
Hamilton is great when they sing instead of rap, don't at me. Spanish is the best, but the grammar's pretty whack. No me arrobas. I'll take Beach Boys over Beatles. Neo and Morpheus need some more sequels. I love every theme park, but Christmas is hella lit every time I go to SeaWorld. If you need goggles to go on a ride, then you probably shouldn't go on it. Yo, simulators and 3D rides don't hold a candle to animatronics. I'd rather it be a small world after all than have movie screens making me vomit. Optimus Prime, get me off of this ride and give me some ET robotics. Oh no.
If you put that circle around that A, I might bring my circle around you, ayy. Everybody got something to say. If you disagree with me, better leave, have my name down. You won't, ain't gone, you can't, no mine, you ain't, you late, better leave, have my name down.
The Office is the best show ever, don't at me. Michael Scott is the best boss, don't at me. Parks and Rec is almost best, but it settles for second, that's a fact, don't at me. But I'd rather live in Pawnee, Indiana than have to grow up in Scranton, Pennsylvania, cause at least the nightlife is poppin'. Snake Hole Lounge is boppin', and I'm me, Ron Swanson, don't at me. Laurel over Yandy, don't at me. Potter over Twilight, don't at me. Hermione over Bella and LeBron over Stephen, nothing over Jessica and Seven Heaven, don't at me. Dawson's Creek over One Tree Hill, Charmed over Gilmore Dill, don't at me. Sideshow Bob over Bob That Bills, 2% over 9 Fat Milk, don't at me. Pump subs are better than Wawa, don't at me. Killmonger over T'Challa, don't at me. Nutella's garbage, don't at me. Steve Harvey show over Martin, don't at me. Florida's not that bad to stay, don't
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Two Brothers Podcast. I'm Logan,
I'm Spencer.
and here we have debates, incredible conversations, and killer stories.
Killer stories.
And that's the podcast. It's just us.
Just two brothers doing brotherly things, being two brothers. It's just two brothers.
And today we're gonna piggyback a little bit off of a topic that we started talking about yesterday. Or last week, my apologies. We were talking about it's not a sport if it's not in the Olympics.
It's not a sport if it's in the Olympics, yes.
I just want to say that is football in the Olympics?
That's a really good question. I think it was.
And is baseball in the Olympics?
Baseball is in the Olympics.
Is it really?
Yes.
Wow, I have not watched the Olympics.
You know who's actually really good at baseball? Asian countries. I think Japan specifically, but like they're really, really good. Football did appear in the Summer Olympics as well.
Okay, I'm getting told no, it's not. But is it like planet status? Do we agree that once in the Olympics, it's always forever a sport, just like art is a sport?
That's what I think.
Okay. Awesome. So football and baseball are a sport.
Yes.
I just wanted. That's just something I thought of. But speaking of sports, we used to play sports quite often at our home in Inverness. We used to play football in the front yard, soccer in the front yard. But there is one sport that we played more than the rest.
Yes.
And it is one that you made up.
I kind of sort of made it up.
What is the name of this sport, Spencer?
So the name of the sport is called Battle Ball.
Battle balls. Wow.
Originally, I don't even know if you remember this, there was a board game-esque setup where you created like a football field, and the goal of Battle Ball was the same rules as football for the most part, where you had to run it from one side to the other side, get it into the end zone, and then you would score points. But in the version of this board game is instead of just tackling people, you could just go up and start fighting other members on the team, and you could literally beat them up and knock them out, making it easier for you to run into the end zone. So naturally, I decided to introduce this in real life, and we made some different tweaks and stuff to the we made some tweaks to the rules.
I don't know if it was a tweaks more. We took the concept of, hey, here's a game of football where you can beat each other, and we just took that and then made our own complete set of rules.
Yeah. So the basic rundown for everybody who is unaware, which would be everybody because we made this game up. The rules of Battle Ball were you had a ball, and that was the ball that was definitely in play for the whole time. You would start up kind of lined up as you normally do, and then you would hike the ball, which just means that the ball is now in play. That means from that point forward until you are quote-unquote taking a down, you are just going to try to move to the other end zone. We used to play this in my room, so it was from one wall all the way to the other wall. And pretty much that was it. You could do whatever you wanted. And you got 4 downs per possession. And the only way that you could make yourself down was you had to have the ball touching the physical ground, and you had to say the words tap, tap. But no one else was able to be touching the ball at that point in time. So if another person had their hand on the ball and you were trying to claim your down, it did not count. Which basically meant that we just wrestled each other and were trying to rip the ball out of each other's hands and beating each other up until that came through. And once you got your touchdown, you scored your point. And then we would literally just throw the ball as hard as we could at the other side of the room, and that's how you
That was the kickoff.
So you kicked off. So you could literally throw the ball all the way to the other side of the room, and it could rebound and come back all the way towards the goal already.
And just so everyone at home knows, our ball wasn't a ball. It was this stuffed penguin that was about this big, so that we could literally take it and beat each other with it without causing too much harm.
The goal was for the ball to be as soft as possible to minimize the amount of injuries that were going to come about from playing this game.
Because obviously there was injuries, but you know, as the good saying goes, you don't want to leave bruises. It was a great game. Because I was a very small child, and you were very tall, and just in every way, you were just big. You were a football player.
Yeah, no, I was huge.
Everyone was like, does this kid play football? And he's like, no, I do drama. And so there's this tiny little twig versus this football player. And my only way of getting from one side to the other was to hike it, reach as far as I could, and put myself down so that I could reset and he wouldn't be on top of me.
That was definitely what happened, and then I would consistently come through and I would put you in any kind of chokehold that I could to try to stop you from moving forward.
Chokeholds were always your go-to.
Yeah. Well, so it's a weird chokehold because I had to have you in the chokehold, but I also had to be touching the battle ball in order for you not to claim that down.
And I mean, this is a dangerous ass sport that I've always thought, like, you know, if we could get like even like teams of 2 would make it like it was 1-on-1 always, and like just adding another person on each side would make it absolutely insane.
So we didn't do it too often because Addison was still young, but we did start introducing handicap teams, or it was 2 versus 1.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean literal handicap teams. And it was fun. And like I petition. Spencer's a football player sized dude who doesn't play football. Yeah, because he does drama and and magic. And I petition that you and I start the goal of getting Battle Ball to be an official sport. Olympics 2028. Right? Would that be a winter? What? Yeah, because the 4s are the summer and the 2s are the winters.
Pretty positive it's every 4 years there's a winter and a summer, and then it just happens in the middle. So 2020 was supposed to be summer, and then I think 2022
was just the winter,
and then 2024.
Yeah, so 2028.
For the person who said that it might make a decent video game, shocker, there is
a video game actually. Yeah,
I don't know if it's called Battle Ball, but the premise is very similar. Where the teams look gruesome. It looks nasty. It's an older game, so the graphics aren't very good.
It's called Blood Bowl.
Blood Bowl.
Fantasy football.
And it's pretty much the same premise as that.
And that's actually the board game as well. They have a board game of it, so that might be.
It might have been just called that straightforward.
Yeah.
I don't know how we got to Battle Ball then.
I think because we wanted it to be our own thing.
We didn't want to fully steal the idea.
No. So Battle Ball 2028 Olympics. I'm thinking not a football-sized field, but a soccer-sized field.
Still a lot of running back.
It is a lot of, but you have. I think.
But if you have
four people a team, soccer-sized field.
If it's 4 people a team, I think a basketball
size
would work.
It has to be a little wider, I think.
Maybe a little wider, but
basketball court, soccer size wideness. This is a little bit longer. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that would be your a prime.
If we do 4v4, which should be the primary way it's played.
All right, hang on.
But it could be 6 versus 6.
What if you just put it in the same idea as a hockey rink, but instead of ice, It's just the turf. But then
hockey rink would be a good
You
size.
also have the walls, so when you throw the ball, it slams into the side.
I think that's perfect.
I think hockey rink would be what you would have to do.
And like a rugby ball size ball.
Yeah, for sure. I think
maybe just a rugby ball. I
honestly,
think that's perfect.
I think what we're describing is practically rugby.
Practically rugby without the confusing whacking it and running in a weird circle. Rugby, but football. So hockey. Hockey with the ball. But the beatings are what is encouraged.
Yeah, so the whole premise of this game is, you can score high enough and you can be a really all-star player, or you can just cripple the team hard enough to where they can't defend, and that's how you get your
So
scores.
basically it's demolition derby, but with people. So you have to have a roster of 20, but only 4 people play because you're gonna have people out for the season.
You are definitely gonna have to have a full.
It's like a full 20, but you're like switching out. And I'm thinking 3 periods like hockey.
3 periods?
Yeah, 3 periods of hockey, and the game ends when either no one can. 3 periods like hockey, but baseball rules. If they're up by like 7 by the second period, there is no
rule,
third period. And so either the team can't continue, or you're up by 10, or just it ends.
I think that could work. That way, the other team just can't score high enough, and then just start pummeling everybody and make them incapacitated for the next games that are coming down the line.
Yeah, and I think the way to make this happen, to get it into the Olympics of 2028, Spencer, is I currently can't do anything really contacty. I bleed really easily. I have wires coming out of me. I have this pump that can get dislodged. So I can't participate. So that leaves only one of the 2 real main people who play it can't participate either, or can participate. But I feel like you shouldn't participate due to an unfair advantage of being a football player who doesn't play football, and also being one of the creators. If the other creator can't play, you can't play. So we both draft.
We draft
a team.
The team.
We
Okay.
both draft a team, and I will be. I'll be the mountain team. You be the East Coast team.
Okay.
You know, because you gotta start with regions. You know, so our regions fight each other. We just play. It's just our 2 teams until it catches on.
Just 2 teams.
It's just 2 teams.
That's the whole game. Just 2 teams.
2 brothers has 2 teams. That's it. And we just keep going until there's a central team, until there's a West Coast team, and then there's then we have people. You know, it's the Batman team versus the Spider-Man team. It's Wolverine versus name another person you like. You know, and so until we have teams throughout, and it becomes a U.S. sport, because obviously it's a U.S. sport.
Obviously, with it being as violent as it is.
And then it will next obvious step from U.S. is either Russia or Australia. One of those are going to catch on. And then it becomes a worldwide sport. I think this is easily doable within the next 6 years, so it can be a planned Olympic sport by 2028.
I think that's a very... Let me just... You think it's doable in the next 6 years to be in the 2028 Olympics, which happens in 5 years?
I thought it was 2020.
I just wanted to make sure that we were...
The entire time I've been saying 2028 Olympics, I could have sworn that we were in the year of 2020.
No, we are not in the year 2020.
So, 2032 Olympics. 2032 Olympics.
Yes,
would be 8 years from now.
Yeah, I think
So
that's a little bit
in
more.
6 years, we can be ready for the 2032 Olympics.
For Mr. Viking, I looked up arena football just to see it and think more violent. Like, the goal is you want to hurt the other team.
So at this very moment, if anyone would like to be on my battle ball team, please type in 1. If anyone wants to be on Spencer's battle ball team, please type in 4. Because your team is going to be 4th. Just always.
Why is my team going to be 4th?
Just it's how it is. My team's going to be 1st.
You understand that I'm the one that created Battle Ball.
Yeah.
How are you going to have a better team than the one who made it?
Because as someone who's won a couple games of Battle Ball, not all of them. Oh wow. I'm just as a person who has won a few games of Battle Ball, as a small child who is able to overcome a brute force, a wall,
Yeah.
something that cannot be moved.
Yeah.
I know more strategy than you, whose strategy was, I can just pummel anyone in front of
So
me.
you're telling me your 3% win rate?
My 3% win rate would allow me to strategize to win, because 1v1, obviously you're going to win more than me. I mean, that was just facts. You were the big brother, you were bigger, you were stronger, but I got a 3% win rate, which is better than 0. As a small child, I have the tactics.
As a small child, you did have the tactics. You did come about it from different... I explicitly remember you doing this one move. I don't know if you remember exactly how you did it, but we would be down in like the crouched position, and as you would
sneak
you
under
would
you?
hike, you would dive in between my legs so that the
Yeah.
ball was behind me, and I physically couldn't do
And
it.
I could just
and
tap,
you would
tap.
just literally go down right there. You would say
And
tap tap, and that was it.
That was a good 4 feet I got.
Yeah. And then I had to start changing up how I came through, and you went, "Oh no!"
Yeah. I think it was a good strategy. So I'm very strategic. But no, I mostly picked 4 because I know that is one of your favorite numbers.
I do really like the number 4. I appreciate
And
it.
I like the number 4, and I had already said 1, so it was too late to give me an even number in general. So, but yeah, Spencer and I will start drafting for the first official Battle Ball team starting today. And we will take applications. You can email me at lokihox23 at gmail.com, and you can email Spencer at...
It is the... Ooh, I just made it. I think...
It's like Suspenser
yeah, it's
413.
suspenser413 at gmail.com.
Yeah, so email us, and we'll make an official application in a year probably, but email us now. And you can be on the first official Battle Ball teams, and you'll be part of a revolution of starting a brand new sport that will be in the 2032 Olympics.
I mean, who can say that they were part of the original teams of
Yeah.
a new Olympic sport?
I mean, not a lot of people.
But you could.
In this generation, really, it's just the skateboarders, which, shout out to my skateboarders.
Shout out to Tony Hawk.
Shout out to Tony Hawk. He's actually changed. He went from doing really goofy TikToks, I think he still is, but now he's teaching origin of tricks. I just saw him talk about the origin of Madonna, and the reason
I think I saw that
Yeah,
TikTok.
the reason it's called Madonna is just because he was creating these tricks and no one was catching on to them, and his friend was like, "You gotta name it something popular, dude." And at the time, Madonna was the most popular thing, so he named it the Madonna. And doing it backside, he named it after her husband at the time, which I don't remember who it is, and I don't remember the name of the trick, which is who it is. So my apologies on that. But that's just, he was like, I did backside, and that was her husband, so I just named it that, and it caught on. So shout out to Tony Hawk, man.
Tony Hawk, man.
Good video games, good skateboarder, and inspiration. Shout out Rodney Mullen, one of the best freestylists out there. Shout out Mike Osmond, another good freestylist, started the Waltz Company. Love that guy. Anyway, back to Battle Ball. Yeah, please be a part or spread the word. If you know someone who can fight and get from one side of a hockey rink to the other on foot and likes the idea of football, send them our way.
So just curious, coming from this Battle Ball, you were a lot smaller than me. Were you excited to play against me? Were you
Dude,
scared?
I fucking loved it. Because there's another sport we play in the swimming pool. I don't think we have a name for it. I think it's just called
tipping.
Yeah, it's called tipping.
Tip wars.
Tip wars.
Yeah.
Where you have to, you just basically wrestle in the water and you have to hold someone underneath the water for a 3 count.
No. The rule for the
tipping. You got just tip them. Yeah, you just gotta tip them. That's right.
You have to tip somebody underneath the water, and they have to resurface without touching you.
Yeah.
So if you were to tip somebody underwater, but they were able to grab onto you before they came back up, that did not classify as a tip.
Yeah.
You had to fully flip somebody or tip somebody over in the water and get away from them before they could come back at you. I mean, we've both almost drowned ourselves a myriad of times doing tip wars.
Yes.
It was extremely physical. I feel like it evolved somehow from Battle Ball, honestly.
Yeah, I think it originated with we both because we would do. I became famous on TikTok.
But the WWE moves in the pool.
Into the pool.
Yeah.
So we used to RKO each other. We used to, just...
I
was smaller, so basically you would just pick me up and throw me in the pool as hard as you could in some cool fashion. And so we would do these wrestling. We would just wrestle in the pool. I mean, we like to fight all the time.
We do.
I think it really helped both of us build strength. But it was just fun. And it was fun when it wasn't because we hated each other. It was just we were doing this for fun. We liked to fight each other.
And we've always been, for the most part, mainly when it came to the tip wars, we were always super respectful. Where if we were like, "Yo, you good?"
Yeah.
And then we went right back into it.
Because there was a couple times where I have gotten you good, and you were like, "Dude, I gotta believe that." I was like, "I'm sorry, I'll leave you alone."
I mean, I've definitely thrown up coming out because you held me under the water, and I took in some water.
So like both of these, Battle Ball and Tip Wars, it was always exciting being the small guy because one of my favorite superheroes is Spider-Man.
Yeah.
I grew up with the Raimi Spider-Man, and just in general, I really always liked Spider-Man. I've liked other superheroes, Wolverine, but one of the big things with Spider-Man, he's usually always a lot smaller than his foe.
He is physically smaller. I mean, he's also really strong.
Oh yeah, spider powers.
Yeah.
But Spider-Man versus Rhino.
It's definitely a lot more versatility. He's jumping around, not getting hit, kind of aspects, as opposed to just go in and boom.
Yeah, and so it was like you have to be smart about things. I also really loved Robin, a kid superhero, someone who is always smaller than his opponent because he's a child.
Just for sake of everybody here, who's your favorite Robin?
My favorite Robin is it's really a little bit of a tie. I absolutely love Jason Todd, but I also really love Damian Wayne. Both shitty asshole kids. But I think Jason Todd takes it just a little bit more because it goes into one of the coolest Batman, Robin, Joker comment series. Introduction of Robin 3 and the Joker getting out of Arkham Asylum. So Tim Drake's now Robin, and Joker comes face to face with Joker, and Joker he's already mentally insane, but he's a literal mental breakdown because he's like, I killed you, you're dead, I murdered you. This is crazy because Robin is Robin, so Joker doesn't know Dick Grayson is now Jason Todd and so forth. So he's like, I literally murdered you. What the actual fuck? You're standing right in front of me. And so Joker breaks down and just goes on this wild spree to try and murder Tim Drake. But anyway, I love Jason Todd, and the fact that the viewers, readers called in to murder him was one of the coolest things, because the writers were like, everyone was like, you can't replace Robin, and then all of a sudden they were like, no, you can replace Robin, bring in Tim Drake. So like, I love Jason Todd, but I also love Damian Wayne and the stories that they've done with him over the recent past couple of years. Okay. So anyway, being the little guy facing this big dude, it was always a pleasure. I know I'm going to lose 90% of the time against you, but as we kept going, I would get out of your holds easier. I would find new ways to get you, and sometimes I would get you.
Oh yeah, no. For tip wars, you got really good at tipping.
Yeah, and there was times where I was able to lift you out of the pool and throw you, which is a huge feat in my life, because it's like, I'm strong, and it also helped me, like, I've always been this lanky guy even when I got taller, but like knowing like, oh, I'm strong, other people would, like, you know, if they would, some of them would be intimidated of me, some of them would be like, no, you're nothing. And I'm like, you are a twig compared to what I know I can pick up and throw. Yes, it's in a pool, but I've gotten you out of the pool.
You have lifted me up out of the pool and backwards.
So it's always a amazing thing that I'm excited for.
Do you remember your go-to move for tipping? It was not first, but you did learn that this was the way to win.
I would come behind you, get under your legs, right?
No. Even more. The best way that I could describe it is your feet were at my face and your face was at my feet.
Oh yeah.
And you would come down and wrap yourself around my leg, and then it was just we were just trying to literally doing this in the water, trying to put the other.
I had to hold my breath quite much longer, but yeah, no, because my legs can lock a lot stronger than my arms always could, and I learned that because when we first started, I would wrap my legs around your leg, so that when you tipped me, I was still connected.
You would still be connected.
And so, so I learned that if I did it on top, I could lift myself out of the water and either push you down, or I could do something. But that way, it's easier for me to get out of the water, but also it became easier to tip you. Yeah, I do love that I did that.
Little known fact about Logan is he has the most deadly chin. His chin is such a violent weapon. I don't understand how else I can say that other than you used to like strain your neck to dig your chin into anywhere that you could to hurt me.
Easiest way to get out of a chokehold. I would be choking and I'm like, you know what? If I choke myself just a little bit more, I will get out of this. And it's, you know, I've busted my chin so many times as a kid. It's been glued, it's been stapled, it's been glued again. I busted open while it was glued, so then it had to be re-glued. So it just had to get strong because my chin was like, bro, I'm done with this shit. So it just bulked up so that I could hit it on stuff because I was hitting my chin on everything, and it was weird things. It wasn't like, oh, I hit it on the counter. I would hit it on the bathtub faucet. I think that was 3 of the 5 breaks.
You would hit your chin on a bathroom faucet, like where you wash your hand. Oh, the bathtub.
The bathtub.
How?
I know I used to wash my head underneath it, so like I don't know if I would I don't know how I could bring my head up and hit my chin, but I did a couple times, and I think I fell on it one time, dude. I don't know.
Okay, you're just very accident prone.
Yeah, and I mean, like, I also was very. I did cut it with a razor once because I like took our dad's razor and was like, I can shave and just like. And so that there was just blood dripping, so the skin was like, oh, we also gotta toughen it up. So yeah, it became really strong, and the first time I like dug my chin into you, and you were like, "Shit, that hurts," and you let go. I was like, "Damn, that's my secret weapon. I'm gonna use this as much as I possibly
It was
can."
one of those. You realized, oh, this can work.
Yeah, and just like I'm like, I can't really punch you that well, but man, can I kick you?
You did kick a lot. You were a kicker.
And I mean, apparently all kids are, as John Mulaney figured out with Street Smarts. He said, just get on your back and start kicking.
Street smarts.
So, I mean, I'm glad that it was just a natural kid instinct.
Just the natural kid stinks.
Yeah, kid stink.
This kid stinks.
Kid stinks, man. They save your life. Punch out that taillight. So yeah, I was good at kicking. So I had something for my lower body, and I was good with my chin. So I had the upper body. So like I didn't need none of this. I just needed my legs and my chin, and I got through it.
Nothing from the torso.
Yeah.
Arms, forget about those.
Dude, your brother is choking you underwater, and he knows the exact point to let you up, but you don't want to wait till that point. You dig your chin into him and kick him as hard as you can.
So, just now that you've said this, a lot of this comes through. We used to play the game Tales of Symphonia, and you always wanted to play as the guy who was handcuffed.
The guy who was handcuffed and could only kick.
Is that because you yourself were so good at kicking?
Yeah, and I was like, if I keep watching this video game character fight with just his feet, maybe I can do what he can do. I also liked being the kid who did magic with the ball thing. Just because I thought he was cool, and Jonathan would take the prisoner who only used his foot.
Yeah.
I didn't want to be any of the sword characters, oddly enough. I've always, in character games where you can be whatever, I usually go the magic route. And I don't know what that says about me. I'm very into druids, though. I've always liked the druids of of the magic world.
See, in the realm of video games, I'm normally the hack and slash one, but in the realm of D&D, I like a little bit of magic balance.
In video games, it's so much easier to be hack and slash.
It is so much easier to be hack and slash. I think that's why I like it.
And it always has made me upset because I've started going that route. But I've also been like getting into more like, I can replay this game kind of thing. So it's like I can go through hack and slash, beat it, so I get that satisfaction, and then I can go more of the magic route next time. So that if I don't beat the game, I'm not mad about it. It's just because it takes a lot more effort and work, and sometimes I don't want to do that. The first Dragon Ball Xenoverse game, I picked a Namekian, which is just shit at everything, but his defense is okay, and he regens health during a level. And it took me so long to beat the game that way. And then I played through as a Saiyan, just to beat the beat stick character, and I was done 20 times faster. And I'm like, this is shitty. This sucks. Why did I do this to myself? And it's wild. And I mean, like in D&D world, sorcerers tend to have less health. Right?
Or a wizard.
Wizards suck, dude. Don't be a wizard. You have to have your little wand, and you have to have everything.
Well, in the realm of D&D, you just like to be oxymoron-like.
I think it's hilarious.
You consistently are like, I want to be the tiniest character, but I want to be the character that is the most feared.
Yeah.
Like, you always want to be a gnome that's also a barbarian, and you're like, bro.
I think it's really funny, because I usually want to be an Akrahorian, the bird person, who is a druid, because he can shapeshift, and he's already a bird, so he doesn't have to worry about that shit. But, like, yeah, I think it's funny. I always just like being a little character. I love being a gnome. I think it was just because I was always so short, and everyone's like, you're going to grow tall one day. And I'm like, I sure hope not. I see what my brother's going through, and now look at me. But, no, I liked being short. I like the idea of a short character kicking fucking ass.
Root for the little guy.
Yeah, root for the little guy. And I think that it might just mostly be because of my infatuation with Robin. I mean, they created a whole comic series where just a bunch of kids were like, I don't want to turn out shitty, so they dressed as Robin and started being good.
I don't remember the Teen Titans like that, but
No, it was literally called We Are Robin, and it was a great series. Great series.
great series.
Did I say great series? I don't know,
I don't
dude.
know.
I'm not good. I'm not great at talking. I know good at English.
So, not to derail what you're going down, but trying to go back onto the topic of Battle Ball and tipping. For those of you who don't know, I am a magician. And Logan has always been really good at strategizing and, for lack of better words, finding a way to wiggle himself out of really tough situations. So, in the realm of tipping with the pool, I'm sure you remember, but you used to be like, you know what, if you're the magician, I want to be the escape artist.
Yeah.
And I would literally like tie your ankles up in rope and tie your hands up with rope, and then I would drag you around the pool, effectively waterboarding you. Or there's a whole I can't remember, but pirates do it as well, where they throw you over and they just drag you. It's not key haul, I don't think, because that's when you get shoved under the boat. But I literally would do that to you and bring you around, and your goal was to escape these bonds that were around your wrists and around your ankles, and that was the whole goal. And you were like, "Yo, let's do that."
Yeah.
And I was like, "What are you doing, bud?" But I mean, you know, I'm never gonna pass
It's
up
key
on
hauling.
Is it key hauling?
Yeah. To drag along the keel of the ship. Yeah.
Okay, so I thought that key hauling was specifically throwing them over the front and then you getting dragged underneath and then pulled, because typically you would die from the barnacles and stuff underneath.
No, and it was it really, we didn't just, so everyone knows that Spencer isn't a psychopath, or me for that matter, because I wanted to do it. It didn't start just with rope, water, figure it out. We would do it often. He would tie me to chairs, and I would escape, or he would eventually, like, he learned how to pick a handcuff lock, so he taught me. So it was handcuffing me in weird ways while also tied up, and I would escape. And so then it was like, okay, how can we take this one step further? And we're in the pool one day, and I think we had a rope across it for volleyball.
We had a rope for volleyball.
And it came loose, and so I was like, I think I was just like dancing with it, and I was like, yo, tie me up in the water and throw me in the deep end. And so it started with being in the deep end, escaping from the rope.
For full reference, the deep end in the pool that we were in was maximum 4.5 feet, maybe 5 feet.
No, this was the deep end at Dad's pool.
Was it? I thought we started at...
We started the pulling at Grandma's pool.
Okay.
We did that once because it was two different things. We used to like, I used to like hold something, and like you used to drag me around the pool as like a jet ski. I used to hold on to you like a jet ski. And then the escaping started at Dad's pool, and then the combined of pulling and being was in Dad's pool, because I know Dee specifically was there, because she's like, remember when we did that? She brings it up a lot. And then we used to do it at Grandma's pool all the time, because we could start the whirlpool while doing it.
You are infamous for you hit the water, you're like, guys, I know we just got in the water and we had plans of things to do, but what if we don't do any of that and just make a whirlpool?
It's the best thing to do, because it makes everything else that we do after that so much more fun. Tipping wars in a whirlpool, forget about it, dude. That brings it to a whole new level. Only elites can do that shit.
You're asking for a real injury.
Yeah, and it's just like, and it's not like a small pool, but it's a, you know, it's a little pool.
Yeah.
It's a little guy. It's big enough for what we need.
No, it's definitely big enough to enjoy, but it's not like
perfect for Tipping War Arena.
It's definitely not like an Olympic-sized pool. You can't do laps in this kind of pool.
It's so easy to make a whirlpool, and it's so fucking strong. And we just do so many cool things. Like, you gotta hold on to the railing to stay in one place. It's wild.
You do know now that we've replaced a lot of the things on the pool. It actively just makes a whirlpool now without needing.
That's because the jets are placed to be a
Yeah.
whirlpool, and I think that's always what started it was the jets.
Yeah, the Jets did start the whirlpool, and we just kind of continued doing that circular motion in order to get that stronger and stronger. And then you would try to stop, and then you can't stop, and then you'd grab onto the pole that's on the stairwell to try to keep yourself
I think
from
that's why it's so
being
loose from just years of us yanking on it. And I now that we brought tipping wars into this whole thing, what do you think it'll be easier to get basketball to be an Olympic sport or tipping wars to be a sport?
For sure, neither. But I think battle ball first. I mean, fencing is an Olympic sport, but
It's 1-on-1, so like you lead less people for tipping wars.
that is true.
So tipping wars, Olympic sport. Ice
I think
tipping wars.
I think a tipping war would be too difficult to have a referee to call because there's so much splashing that's going on. It would be very difficult for you to have a referee. It also requires a shallower pool because you are standing for most of it. You're not
Okay,
waiting and
so
floating.
hear me out. A glass or transparent type of material.
Tank.
Yeah, like a water tank, like displayed like a wrestling ring, so a little bit raised.
Okay.
Then you can have someone like hockey has a bunch of refs, so you have a ref on each side, a ref from above.
I like that you said it's like a wrestling ring because the first thing that goes to my mind is now somebody splashes the water and it hits a ref and they get knocked down, and then somebody gets a tip.
Or the audience gets.
Yeah, now we're going more into like the WWE
Because I mean,
scripted.
because it's basically wrestling, but in water. I mean, there's the logistics are a little bit different,
Yeah.
but it's basically that. So you display it and then that way everyone can see from all sides. And then you have the ref right there to be like on this side, like whistle, I saw him, and then they're like, yeah, I saw him too, So it's a 2-5 ref. It's a 3-5 ref game. 2 at the minimum.
Skipper Angela says to use underwater cameras with a ref in the booth.
Yeah, I thought about that. I did, but you're having him watch multiple cameras. You definitely need just one person focus on one area, because that causes a lot of discrepancies in games. That's why football has more than one ref. Hockey has more than one ref. And if there's any question, then they go to the camera. So you do have cameras, so you can show on the jumbotron.
You could do 2 refs with one in the booth, and one ref watches fighter A, one ref watches fighter B,
Yeah.
kind of a thing. I think you could do that too. And then the underwater camera in the booth is like, this play is under review, kind of a thing.
Yeah. So
What
I
is
mean,
it, holding?
no,
face
holding
mask.
is. Yeah. So
I don't watch enough football to actually know what
that's
they're-
hockey. You were just doing hockey though. That's just,
No, there's holding.
well,
Holding
yeah,
is
but
in
holding's also in
football.
hockey, and face
Oh.
mask is.
There's no face mask
Well,
in hockey.
I mean, helmet.
Icing is hockey. That's the one call I know every time, and then it goes through, and I'm like, how is that not an icing call? And then I'll see them go, and then I'll be like, now that one's an icing call.
Interference, yeah.
Me, who doesn't watch sports, trying to tell people how to play sports is not a good mixture.
I'm just
but
really good at watching something and not knowing the name of anything. Like I will watch a show. Let's just say How I Met Your Mother. I know all the names of the characters in How I Met Your Mother probably, but like I could watch 3 seasons of it and be like, yeah, that one guy who's like just shitty all the time, like is trying to fall in love, like that guy,
Ross
and
Geller.
then the guy with the wife who wants to be a lawyer, and then the guy who fucks everybody. Like I like literally, like I do that with so many shows until someone else tells me the name more than once. Watching the show, because I mean, yes, How I Met Your Mother, they do go Ted a lot, but like, I mean, I'm a weeb. I watch anime. they don't say that person's name a lot. I mean, certain animes. I mean, they say Goku 24/7 in Dragon Ball Z, but other animes, they'll be like...
Most of the lines in the anime are...
So, like, you know, and then there's other shows where you just don't hear the name often, and so, like, it flies over my head, and I'm just like, yeah, that guy.
That's probably why they have different colored hair.
Probably. I'm really... I'm really bad at names in general. I'm really good with faces. Unless I'm dying, because boy, do I not remember anyone or their names from when I was in the hospital.
Wow, what a guy.
Yeah, it's really like, am I a bad person, or was it just I was dying and under sedation a lot?
I think probably a little bit of both, to be honest. I would give it to you on the first portion of your stay in the hospital, but...
The second portion, I remember everyone.
Oh, well then, yeah, it's definitely drugs and being on the verge of not being alive anymore that probably did that for you.
Yeah, and at this point, it's just my brain also blocking all of it out. It's like, you weren't in the hospital. That didn't happen. So, you know...
You were there for more than a month.
I was. You know, wasn't great. I definitely was not battle ball ready. I let my body go. But, you know, I mean...
Not in peak battle ball
condition.
condition.
But I'm eating a lot more. I'm gaining muscle. And, you know, the way to do it is eat right. And that brings us to the best time of the show.
What's the best time of the show, then?
Food review time!
Food review time.
And,
what are we eating today?
Well, we're not actually eating it on camera. We ate it a little bit ago. It was some world soon-to-be famous homemade gumbo by, sitting right across the table from me, my brother, Spencer.
Oh, me?
Yeah.
My gumbo?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you made it just for me.
You're a big reason why. You explicitly were like, remember that time when I was dying and you said if I make it down to Florida, you would make me gumbo? I'm kind of on my way to Florida. And then we were driving over here to kind of meet you and get everything ready. And I mean, you have the whole compound of people that are here, and gumbo feeds a lot of people. So I said, yeah, I'll make gumbo for everybody.
Gumbo do make a whole lot of gumbo for people.
Yeah.
And so we did eat it. I had 2 bowls myself. And so it's saving y'all the pleasure of us eating on camera. So I'm sorry about that. But let's talk about gumbo.
Sure. For those who don't know what gumbo is,
it's gumbo.
Quick rundown. It's a Cajun, New Orleans, Creole creation. It normally consists of chicken stock or chicken broth, and then they have the holy trinity of vegetables, which is going to be onions, green peppers, and celery. That's what they call it down there. You have all of that, and then for the meats, it really kind of depends on what kind you do. There's seafood gumbo, there's shrimp gumbo. I specifically do a andouille sausage and chicken gumbo, and then it's just a bunch of Cajun spices, herbs, and stuff, and you stew it for a really long time. I put okra in mine. Lots of people put okra in theirs. Lots of people don't really like the flavor of okra or the taste or consistency, so that one's kind of a hit or miss there. But explicitly on ours, it's andouille sausage, chicken, and then all those veggies.
Yeah.
Served over rice.
Served over rice. I had mine over white rice. Did you have yours over white rice?
Yeah, I do mine over white rice.
All right. And Spencer, what did you think of your gumbo?
You want me to start with what I made, or do you want to critique it first?
I'm gonna critique you. I want you. Fuck. Backtrack. I want you to critique your gumbo first.
Okay.
By the way, Spencer still has no idea exactly how I feel. I have not revealed anything.
He has not said anything about it.
People at the table were asking me, and I went.
So I explicitly get really frustrated when I cook and things don't go the way that I want them to. I used a little bit different seasonings this time up front, and it was extremely salty up front. Like when I was tasting it and making it, I was very upset. I was throwing things. Grandma was afraid. It was just super salty, so I had to use a lot of different techniques to try and counteract the saltiness. We threw potatoes in, we threw some lemon juice and some sugar to kind of counteract it. So we went from being too salty to too sweet to too something else, and we just kept going over and over. Ultimately, I think it came out really good. It's not my favorite batch that I've made thus far, and for that reason, I heavily critique it more than I need to. When something isn't as perfect as I want it to be, I'm very frustrated, and it pretty much ruins most of the meal for me. For instance, when we ate the gumbo, I had one bowl, and I probably could have had more, but I was very upset because it wasn't the perfect kind of gumbo that I wanted. And that's just on me. It's how I am as a person. I tried to make it a little bit more mild in the spice level heat-wise, which apparently it was too spicy for most of the people over there.
We do also live with a lot of people who don't like spicy.
I guess that's fair. But I normally put cayenne pepper to hit the zero cayenne pepper that was put in this one. Like, none at all.
None.
Zero.
Cayenne pepper won't find a single trace. If you find cayenne pepper in there, you're lying. It's not in there. Not.
So it was. I tried to make it as medium as I could. I normally use sliced garlic as well, and I didn't have that to throw in. I do minced and sliced garlic because they have different flavors. No sliced garlic on this one, and I think that had some aspects to it. Those are like the backwards things in my head, trying to figure everything out as to why it wasn't where I wanted it to be. All in all, for this particular batch, I still think it's high. I would give it an 8 out of 10 for me. However, I have had what I perceive to be my favorite version of me cooking it, and it didn't quite hit that level for me this time. With that being said, I really do like gumbo. It's one of my favorite things to eat. When I cook it, there's not making a small batch of gumbo, so we normally have leftovers, and we normally eat our gumbo multiple days in a row afterwards. It holds relatively well. It's just a soupy kind of thing, so you just throw it in the fridge and then heat it back up, and yeah. So 8 out of 10 for me on this one. Still, for me, I like that gumbo better than I have ever had any like restaurant bought gumbo though. Even when we were in New Orleans, I think it's better than some of the ones there.
You hear that, people from Louisiana, New Orleans? My brother makes better gumbo than you ever will.
I'm gonna add the one extra preface on that. Gumbo has a very wide range of flavors that it can hit into. Brown gumbo and red gumbo are normally like your two defining options. They look brown or they look red. It depends on the spices that you use.
Which one's which?
I prefer red gumbo over brown gumbo, and most of the places in New Orleans sell brown gumbo. It's a little bit more darker of a flavor. It's a little bit more, a lot more of the roux flavor kind of comes through as opposed to all the other spices and stuff. But that's just me personally on my flavor palette.
All right. That's good to know. That's good to know. Now here's my review.
I'm ready.
Out of all the gumbo I've had in the past week, this has been my least favorite.
Okay.
But also my most favorite, because it's the only gumbo I've had in the past week. No, I thoroughly, really enjoyed it. It was quite spicy, but really, it was really flavorful. And let me preface this with saying, out of the 12 people that ate this gumbo today, and the 17 of them who don't like spicy, they kept going, it's too spicy, and just kept eating it because they were like, but it tastes so good. So it was flavorful. It had a really good spice. I loved the spice. It was probably about near perfect of where I would like just a normal eating of spice. It could have probably used a little bit of cayenne. I'm not gonna lie.
I added hot sauce to mine.
Throw a little bit of cayenne in there, we're good to go, baby. But there was zero. just so everyone knows, no cayenne. And I thought it was quite delicious. I ate it really fast, and I got more because I did really like it. It wasn't just because I was hungry. I would probably give this gumbo an 8 out of 10 as well, because I kept hearing you go, this isn't as good as it could be. It could be better. It's not great. Ugh. So I'm sure that if I had what you perfected as a 10 out of 10, I would raise my score. But it was really good. I would eat this again right now.
There's still some left,
yeah.
so you could.
And so like it was quite delicious. I think you took what you learned in New Orleans because you took a gumbo class.
I did take a whole cooking class where we learned how to make gumbo, jambalaya, and pralines or pralines, however you want to pronounce it.
So I think you took what you learned and you took your little Spencer flair and what flavors you like, and I think you made a really good gumbo.
Thank you.
I think, like Grandpa always had his meatloaf. Like Grandpa's meatloaf, it was that. We're having that. It's a great meal to look forward to. I can see, like Grandpa Spencer or Uncle Spencer's gumbo is what I want. Like we're visiting Uncle Spencer's. He asks if there's anything you want. I want his gumbo. I really think that this is something that you have done very well. I've had a lot of different meals you've made for me over the years. When I lived with you, when I visited you, when you've come down here. And I think this is one of my favorite meals you've made.
Oh, thank you.
I coming into it, I was like, I honestly don't know how I'm gonna feel about eating gumbo. I'm not gonna lie. I kept hearing you go gumbo, and I'm like, I want to have his gumbo, but I was like, I don't know how I feel about eating gumbo. I was like, I don't even know if I like gumbo. If I'm honest with you, because my brain has been off. I'm like, what if I don't like gumbo anymore after starving, and my stomach's readjusted to everything. But I really like it, and it's something that I want Angela's mac and cheese. I want Spencer's gumbo.
Angela does have good mac and cheese.
So yeah, I want Spencer's gumbo and Angela's mac and cheese with Frosted Flakes on top. I want everyone to know that Angela puts Frosted Flakes on top of her mac and cheese, and it's fucking good. Get over it. It's only because they didn't have breadcrumbs, and her aunt, uncle, whoever made it, had a little box of Frosted Flakes, so they threw it on top, and now she does it forever, and it's good, and you should try it. And the sweet with the mac and cheese just works. It's also like a white mac and cheese. I know she puts a little. It comes out
it's
more
Velveeta.
white. Oh, well, fuck, dude. It's just.
No, Velveeta is like toxic yellow color.
But doesn't she? She has other stuff. It was white the first time I had it.
I don't think it was white, but that's okay.
You know what? I believe what I believe. It's good. Try Frosted Flakes on your mac and cheese. But yeah, 8 out of 10 for the gumbo. I would like to try what you think is better. I would like to try that 10 out of 10 Spencer's gumbo.
I can try to do it at a future time when we are together once again.
Is Velveeta mac and cheese?
It's a Velveeta mac and cheese. So the cheese is made from Velveeta.
Yeah. Well, whatever. It's good. And it runs through.
Friendly reminder that Logan is lactose intolerant.
Yes, I don't have toes, and my ants do be tall. Yeah, I mean my ants are tall, Spencer.
Your ants are
My ants are tall. But if you have tall ants, you don't need quite a lot of them. Let's be honest.
That's fair.
But a regular size ant.
A regular size ant.
A regular size ant.
Yeah.
You would need quite a bit of to get something done. I mean, that's how they work. They work in teams.
They do work in colonies.
But I do know what is an ant's most natural predator.
I mean,
like if I said what defeats an ant, top of your head, go.
I mean, just because it's in its name, An anteater?
An anteater. You're
Yeah.
right. So, let me just throw a number out there. 1 million ants.
Okay, 1 million ants.
1 million ants, like the superhero.
Uh-huh.
Or is he billion ants? Fuck,
I think he's million ants.
1 million ants. 1 million ants, like the superhero.
Uh-huh.
What's a good number of anteaters to take them on?
Well, you've
That
got...
you wouldn't think is too much or too little.
Because the size of an anteater, I would say you can't just go 1 versus 1 million. Maybe like 100?
Your foot. 100 anteaters.
Yeah.
100 anteaters versus 1 million ants.
Who would win?
I don't know. Let's talk about it.
Yeah. Let's talk about it. Let's do these debates.
1 million ants, 100 anteaters. I've got my answer. What is yours?
I've got my answer.
Okay,
too.
go ahead.
I'm going 1 million ants all the
Are you
way.
really? I'm on 100 anteaters team.
Oh no, man.
This is crazy. But I thought you were gonna side with me on this one. I'm not gonna lie. I thought you were gonna be on my team.
My favorite part is that like we genuinely go into these not telling each other anything up front, and
But it
naturally
looks really
we
staged.
always.
These are our natural reactions, but it looks staged.
So okay, 1 million ants.
Million ants.
They can just keep going further and further down into their colony. The anteater can't reach them.
Okay.
They immediately can now flank them. They can lift their, like, I think it's 10 times their own body weight. You get enough ants underneath that anteater, he's being lifted. He doesn't see it because he's looking at the hole, and all of a sudden he's now moving. He's like, what's going on? Oh my goodness. Whoa. You put 1,000 ants on each one of them, boom. You carry those anteaters wherever you want.
Can I, if I may,
Yeah.
drop some facts on you?
Yeah.
Anteaters,
Uh-huh.
they go.
They go what?
They go. They suck the ants out of the colony. That's how they eat, right?
Okay.
Forgetting that part. Do you know how many ants an anteater can eat per day?
I actually don't know this statistic.
35,000.
Are you serious? Did you look that up?
On average, 35,000.
Wow.
Times 100 is 3.5 million. So if each anteater just eats half of what they can eat in a day, those ants, gone.
I did not know that was the statistic. And that definitely does put a damper in a lot of my argument here.
Right? They pick them up, that's a meal and a free ride. They just gotta go underneath them now. You know? The food's coming to them.
I just feel like with that number of ants,
That number of ants could overwhelm one and then move on to the next. But so let's even this. Anteaters, they're vicious survivalists, man. Let the ants take over that one and just fucking start eating them off the other one. You know what I'm saying? Let one anteater die so the rest can live.
you know, honestly, that's not a bad option just to send one out. I mean, if one life has to save the lives of millions or hundreds.
The only argument I can make for the ants is that cartoon where the anteater's trying to eat that ant, and it's Tom and Jerry, but an anteater and an ant.
Is that a real cartoon?
It is a real cartoon. There's a thing where his lips get stuck and he's like, and his tongue's sticking out, and then he's like trying to run away, and then he gets snapped back to where his thing is stuck. Yeah, it's a real cartoon. Please someone confirm it's a real cartoon. I know it's a real cartoon, but I need someone else to let me know that they've seen this. Are you looking it up?
I am looking it up.
It's a real cartoon.
Why is the anteater blue?
Yeah, he's blue because it threw my mind off when I saw a real anteater for the first time.
It's not an anteater. It's an aardvark.
Oh.
It's the ant and the aardvark.
Well, there we go. I can't even make an argument for an ant anymore. He can beat an aardvark, but he can't be an anteater. Aren't they the same thing?
I don't think an aardvark and an anteater are the same thing. We're diving way farther into this than we need to.
Yeah. Anteaters live in the forests of Central and South America, while aardvarks live in the forests and grasslands of sub-Saharan Africa. So basically, they're the same thing. They just are.
Aardvarks also
different races.
dig tunnels and have dens underground.
Aardvarks feed almost exclusively on ants and termites and are known to eat 50,000 in one night. So they're better than an anteater.
Well, as much as I like to tell you that I'm right all the time, all logic right now is pointing towards 100 anteaters. Okay, 10 anteaters. Logan is currently spitting water out on the floor. 1 million ant versus 10 anteaters. Who do you think would win? Even those odds just a little bit more.
Yeah. So this is definitely a battle that will rage more than one day.
Yes.
Ants take a while to get through whatever they're eating. I mean, let's be honest. This mint would feed 100 ants.
Yeah.
We could
maybe
say,
even more.
Wait, let's say 50. Let's just be generous. This is a 50 ant. An anteater is probably 1 million of these, right? Or 100,000.
Yeah.
So it's definitely a battle that's raging off multiple days. Ants don't really need sleep. Anteaters do. So if the 10 anteaters ate their maximum 350,000 ants in a day, let's say they can only eat them. They can't squish them. Fair?
Fair.
That's a third of their forces gone in a day. We're probably losing. They could if the ants strategize to get to the brain. We're probably losing 2 anteaters. One seriously injured. It's dead by morning because it's got to sleep. We're losing 2 anteaters throughout the night.
Mm-hmm.
The next day they're taking out 150,000 ants because they're still full from the day before.
Yeah.
So now they're about halfway through their forces. We're losing 2 more anteaters. I think anteaters still win, but it's not a big win. There's one remaining.
But every time you lose those anteaters, they're taking less and less ants.
Yeah, that's why I accomplished. So they're taking less and less ants, but I feel like we're coming out 1 anteater with no legs.
Okay.
Eating the last ant.
So you're saying in 1 million ants versus 10 anteaters, there's not a real winner. Everybody's gonna lose.
There really isn't a real winner.
The more I think about this, ants don't have eyes either.
Yes, they do.
So I don't think ants have eyes.
Ants have eyes.
I'm pretty sure they communicate via antenna.
But they can see.
I don't think so.
Yes. Have you seen A Bug's Life? Have you seen Ants, the movie?
You mean the animated?
Yeah, they
films?
have eyes. I think that's a vital function. Yeah, visual system of ants is comprised of a pair of compound eyes and a set of simple eyes. They have 2 sets of eyes. Ants have eyes.
Look, all I know is that if you draw a circle on a paper with a pen, an ant doesn't know how to get past that.
Did you know a bee will only fly straight up if it's trapped and try and escape? So, if you have a bee fly into this bottle,
Yeah.
it flies in from the... I'm going to use the empty one. It flies in from the top. You flip that bottle, it knows it came from up here, so it will only fly up to try and get out. It won't come here. A fly will come into the bottle, but a fly will just do whatever until it works.
Yeah.
You flip the bottle, the bee will still keep going up while that fly will eventually make it out. Fun fact.
Do you want to know another fun fact about flies?
Sure.
They're
fucking everywhere in the summer and winters of Colorado.
So flies, the human eye can see X amount of frames per second, right?
Yes.
To perceive motion.
Yes.
Dogs their frame rate is a lot higher. So most of the time, dogs are seeing like basic pictures going through, figuring things out. A fly has even higher than that. So when you try to swat at a fly, it's going to see everything coming through, and it's going to be able to react and get out of the way every single time. But, and I tried this out, it really does work. If you take your hand and the fly is right here, and you move at this tempo, you're moving slower than the frame rate of the eye can capture, and you can crush the fly by moving slowly as opposed to swatting.
What a way to learn facts about bugs.
Yeah, I thought that was crazy, and I was like, there's no way that that's real. And then I tried it, and it worked 3 for 3 at this point for me.
That's awesome. That's really good to know.
So in case you ever have a fly that's really bothering you, don't try to swat it. Approach it slow. It's gonna look and feel weird, but it will work. Yeah.
Come to the Two Brothers podcast to learn how to kill flies. No, but flies are people too.
I wouldn't even swat a fly.
Cowtail. Wow. So we've come to an agreement.
I will say that we've definitely come to an agreement here, and I will say that
1 million versus 100 anteaters. 1 million versus 10. There's not really a victory.
There's not a victor, and there's not really a loser. They're both losers.
I mean, the ants are the winner, but the anteater is still alive to tell the tale.
Cool. So next thing I kind of want to talk about moving through here.
Mm-hmm. Tell me about it. Go ahead, get it off your chest. Wait, hold on. Okay, I'm ready. Wait, Spencer, are you? So you're going to keep this going? You're telling us the next topic?
I'm going to tell you the next topic.
All right, please go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah. Let me know whenever you're ready for me to actually say it, though.
Yeah, I think I am.
Okay. I feel like the two of us really, really, really like music. Every time your specifically your Spotify Wrapped comes through and it shows like how many minutes of music you've listened to through the year, if you like put a side by side of how many minutes are in the actual year versus how many minutes are on Spotify, they're almost identical. And you're like, what is this guy doing?
Yeah.
I also thoroughly love music, and I definitely would take music over any other kind of art medium. Like, I would rather listen to music than watch a movie or something like that.
Yeah, I think you're right, because like, I mean, my AirPods, so like, you know how they say you get full 4 charges and there's like 4 hours? I have to charge my AirPods in the middle of the day every day because I have basically exhausted the battery of the AirPods and the case.
Do you have both in at all times?
I do now. For a long time, it was one at a time.
I have to do one at a time in order for it to last me throughout the day.
Like when I was working, but like there's just some scenarios when I'm working where I need both.
Okay, yeah.
And like karaoke nights at a bar, and I'm in the kitchen.
Yeah.
So,
gotta have both.
Both on noise cancellation. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, there's music is a big part of both of us.
So I kind of wanted to talk about music with you a little bit to kind of dive into this realm. Explicitly going into more of the live events kind of music.
Live event. Are you talking about concerts?
Concerts, yes. So
concerts.
I kind of wanted to talk about both of our first concerts and then our most recent concert that we've gone to. We can even kind of spill into like what the next concert will be depending on how our conversation goes.
All right, first concert and most recent concert.
Yeah.
And I would like to start off by saying, yes, it's considered a concert, but not like multiple like Warped Tour.
I was gonna say Warped Tour was technically my first,
Yeah.
but I wasn't gonna use that as my first concert.
Yeah.
I was gonna talk about like the first actual like I'm going to see this person.
And I would also like to add in first concert and then first concert that you paid for your ticket and went as an adult.
Okay.
Because that's also important. Because there's I want to see this person, someone takes you, but like as an adult, and you're like, I have the ability to buy this ticket.
I had to think about who that was
Who's
real
it
fast,
gonna
but I
be?
have it now. Yeah. Cool.
All right. So
Let's start with first concert, whether we pay or without paying for
first
it.
concert. All right.
For me, it was The Disturbed. They had their, I think it was Music as a Weapon is what they called their specific like tour. And then opening for them, they had Killswitch Engage and Lacuna Coil. I wanted to go to 98 Rock Fest is I think what the one that it was, where it's like the Tampa Bay radio station, their concert, but I wasn't able to go to that one. But Disturbed was playing a show in the Amway in Orlando, and I actually went with our dad.
Isn't that where you also got to see Hollywood Undead?
No, I've never seen Hollywood Undead.
I thought you did at one at like the Avenged Sevenfold concert or one of those.
No, I've
or
never seen
you were
Hollywood
supposed to the day before or something. Hollywood Undead was there.
Hollywood Undead was going to be at the 98 Rock Fest.
That's right. Okay,
Yes.
because I know you were like, oh, like I also can see them.
Yes, 98 Rock Fest was the one that had Hollywood Undead as well, but I did not go to that one. I went to just the Disturbed one. I learned a lot. I didn't know what a mosh pit was when I went in. I was in high school, so 13, 14-year-old, I think was how old I was when I did that.
Real quick, speaking of mosh pits, you and I both love mosh pits.
Absolutely, yeah.
I can't do them anymore, sadly. But we love mosh pits. And I learned about mosh pits at Warped Tour. I went to Warped Tour when I was like 12, I think. It was a good one. And we were at, it was the Scott, man, I just had the name and I lost it. Jimmy
Eats World?
No. They did the whole SpongeBob songs and ska. Gosh. Anyway,
I don't know.
we were watching them. Five Finger Death Punch did the wall at your concert. Not Big D and the Kids Table. Maybe? No. It starts with a J. I know that they do ska music and they cover SpongeBob.
Man,
Someone
that
find
doesn't
that.
narrow it down.
Someone
at
find
all.
that. I know you can find it. I know it. Anyway, we're watching them. It's a dude singer. And they had us do. I learned what mosh pit was earlier. I knew about it. You had talked about them a lot. But this was my first that I ever did. They had two circles going. They had one circle going clockwise and like the outer circle going
the opposite direction.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so I was a small kid, and you and Dad were like, "Hey, get on in there," and I got knocked in. I got knocked into the inner circle. It was like one of the most fun I've ever had in a mosh pit. I'll be honest with you.
Okay.
I mean, it's because it's huge. It's a big event.
So the first concert that I went to with Disturbed, Killswitch Engage made a wall of death where they split the whole arena, and I was separated from Dad for a hot 15 minutes after that happened and went through. Less Than Jake. That actually tracks.
It was Less Than Jake.
tracks.
That's what it was. Less Than Jake. Doesn't start with a J. The name of the person. Thank you. Less Than Jake. That's who it was. Oh man, that was gonna kill me.
Yeah.
We love mosh pits. My first concert, not as cool. I mean, it's as cool as yours, if I'm honest, but like not as well known of people. We had gone to Warped Tour.
Uh-huh.
That was my first concert, but we're not counting. But we saw this band from Japan named P. Lander Z.
Okay.
They're basically the Power Rangers became a band.
Okay.
And there was also this other band, ska band, called Brothers from Brazil. They happened to be at Warped Tour. But P. Lander Z was playing at the small venue in downtown Orlando. We enjoyed their concert because they were just these fun, wild, crazy people. and Jackie was like, "Hey, they're playing in downtown Orlando." We were like, "Fuck it, let's go."
Why not?
And Brothers of Brazil opened for them. Both bands significantly better in this small venue. They were just because they could do so much more.
Yeah.
P-Lander Z. Yeah, you were at Pierce the Veil. Yeah, so it was at the Social because.
It wasn't Pierce the Veil. It was Black Veil Brides.
Oh, it was Black Veil Brides.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
You're right. It was one of the veils.
Social is my favorite venue to see
Yes.
anybody. Yeah, I'll get there.
Yeah. So P-Lander Z set up some bowling pins, and the guitarist put on a squid costume because they each had like this animal. Put on a squid, and then went from one because the Social comes and has like 2 stairs going into the so
Yeah.
bowling pins at this set of stairs. He comes down the stairs and just throws himself into these pins. I still have my signed T-shirt from them.
That's insane.
It was so much fun. Absolutely loved it. But it was P-Lander Z and Brothers from Brazil was my first concert.
That's cool. Back to the Social.
I have to let a small puppy out. One moment.
Back at the Social, I was just able to see one of my absolute favorite bands called Enter Shikari. And half of the show, the lead singer had stepped over that stairs point, and he was climbing on like the side of the bar. But like, if he was to misstep, he would fall into the crowd. And he eventually made his way all the way to the bar that's at the back of the Social, and he was standing on top of the bar while he was singing. I mean, there's just like Jackie always say, there's so much crowd participation. The guitarist stood on top of the crowd during that show, and I got to strum his guitar during the show. That was the top tier experiences for me in a show. Was
Try
that?
to lick it.
No, I did not try to look at the guitar.
I like Enter Shikari's guitar.
So P-Lander Z was the first one. Cool. Sure. Yeah. I will say the next one you said was the first concert that we chose to go to ourselves, and we bought the tickets
as an adult. Yeah.
As an adult. For me, that I think would have been when I saw Avenged Sevenfold at Amway as well. Avenged Sevenfold came through, and that was when they had just came out with their Shepherd of Fire album. And Ghost was touring with them, and so was the Deftones. I'm not a huge Deftones fan at all, but I had never heard of Ghost, and I actually really like Ghost. We're going to go see them pretty soon, too. And that was a pretty cool concert. It was the first time I went there. I went by myself. No one went with me. It was just me out there kind of going through and doing
Going
what I
to
do.
a concert by yourself is a whole different experience.
Very much so.
I've learned.
I definitely think going to a concert with somebody else, depending on the venue, depending on the person, depending on the music, is definitely a lot better. A lot of the shows that I go to, and I'll get to that because it's the last concert I went to, it's actually better if I go by myself. But I'll talk about that when we get there.
And I mean, there sure are some that are better, but so my first concert I went to by myself, and it was weird. Because I had only been to concerts with other people, and I am awkward and nervous around people and shy until I start getting into it. But the band I saw has a weird range of people who are fans. I saw Hollywood Undead.
Was that the first one that you bought and went to as an adult as well?
Yes.
I'm still very jealous that you've got to see them and I haven't.
I saw the tickets. I think you actually sent it to me, and you're like, dude, they're coming to Orlando in November. And I had just got hired for Halloween Horror Nights, and I was just moved in with you. And I was like, dude, that's awesome. And you were like, I think I'm busy. It's like, okay. So I bought the ticket right then and there. I think I was in the bathroom. I for real was like, holy shit, they're coming. I have money to buy it. I bought it. And then November comes around, and we're all doing stuff, and I get a notification. I'm like, fuck, Spencer, I got a concert tonight at 7. Can you drop me off? So I saw Hollywood Undead, and there was also this band called Baby Metal.
You saw Baby Metal with Hollywood Undead?
Not the Chinese, not the...
Oh, okay.
Death Baby, I think it's called.
Okay.
I constantly mix them up. I think it's Death Baby.
That's
Or,
what
no, it's Butcher Baby. Because it's 2 B's with knives, or it's Death Baby. I don't remember. It's
Okay.
one of those. I think it's Butcher Babies. It's just there's these 2 girls, and it was a little bit hardcore for me at the time, because I'm like, this is a Hollywood Undead show, and then there's this. And then at the start, there was this DJ who was not great. He just wasn't. He just wasn't good. But it's it's okay.
Just mediocre.
I think it was like a friend of the band, and they were like letting him open and giving him a shot, and that's cool. But it was really cool how it was set up, because he had just his gear in the front, and then you could see the Death Baby Metal people, or Baby Butcher Babies, whatever, right behind it, and then there was this big black sheet. And it was interesting, because like the DJ ended, it was just his laptop, and they just pushed it to the side.
Yeah,
And
easy
bam.
easy
It was
cleanup.
really
Yeah.
quick. And then there was the Butcher Baby people. They went, and it was they were actually a really good performance, even though it wasn't my kind of music at the time. It was the one singer's birthday, so she hopped in the middle of the crowd, because they were like, it says I can't crowd surf, so this is what I'm gonna do. So she hopped over the barricade, went in the middle, and said, everyone form a mosh pit around me for my birthday. And we mosh pitted to Happy Birthday. And
Okay.
then their next song, and she sang from it. And it was really cool. And I did participate in that, and that kind of helped me like get in the flow of things, but I was still kind of shy. Like, I didn't talk to anyone. Everyone else was in pairs, and it ranges from like hardcore like metal looking people to like weebs to like people who are like super into Hollywood Dead, like super into Hollywood Undead. I don't know how to explain it other than like, that guy who's super into comic books. They're super into Hollywood Undead.
You're just defining you.
Yeah, basically. Basically me, but like with emo makeup. And so when they ended, the Butcher Baby thing actually split in 2, and it just went sideways, and then they dropped the sheet, and it's their whole setup for Hollywood Undead.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, and they have this big banner, and then they came out in their masks, and then like after the first song, they took them off. I was like, that's cool, and then they took them off. I'm like, that's also cool, like kind of ruins the whole thing of you guys. But
Being a masquerade band. But
yeah, like you see all their old concerts, they were always in their masks, but I guess it changes. They got older and went out, and it was really cool. It was a cool concert that I got to see, but it was weird that I was by myself, because I feel like I would have enjoyed it better had I been with someone. Even though half the time when I go with certain people, like you or my friend Doug, we just sit there and we don't like we just enjoy the music together.
Yeah.
But it's like, at least I'm enjoying it with someone. Like,
Yeah.
even like, like not all bands you can like jam to or dance to or mosh to. You just kind of have to enjoy the music. But it's like, I feel less, mostly as a person, like, I feel less awkward when I'm next to someone.
I guess that's fair. I am in this pit of, I go to a lot of the similar concerts in Orlando. Being that I'm a huge guy, I'm very recognizable. And there are these 2 dudes that I've seen. I think we've been at 5 different concerts together. No idea what their names are. I know that they don't know what my name is, but we all can
Your best
recognize
friends.
you. Yeah, we just go through, because we're always in the pit area together. So, yeah.
And that's fair, because yes, you're going by yourself, but you're seeing people that you
Yeah.
know. And I don't go to enough concerts anymore to really be able to do that. And when I was going to a lot of concerts, it was with you to Random House of Blues shows.
Yeah.
Which were fun, like the Summer of Rock people that we saw. I don't know if it's called Summer of Rock, but like it had the people that you wanted to play at your wedding.
Oh, yeah. Yes. Yeah.
Those bands were all good. I
remember
still
we
listen
saw-
to two of them.
Yeah?
Yeah. We saw the one guy who gave us tickets who was working at
Yes.
Graffiti
At
Junction.
Graffiti Junction.
And he had the really cool drum set.
Yes.
Yeah.
They went by Worm, WERM. I still remember
Yeah.
them.
They were cool to see live. It was just fun. Like, we've gone to a lot of random things. We've also gone to a lot of big name shows. And we've gone to a few concerts. And what was your last one, Spencer?
The last one that I went to was earlier. No, we're in June now. It was right after we got back from Europe. Actually, I went and got to see the Amity Affliction. Their openers were garbage. I apologize if those openers are listening, but woof. That's all I can say. Amity Affliction is on the realm of deathcore, though, and they're from Australia. They've got a really cool vibe. I got into them during the pandemic, and
During the pandemic, you only want to listen to deathcore. 'Cause that's all you wanted.
I mean, I listened to a lot of. I will say I was starting to get more into like heavier music at that time, but it's definitely grown to where songs that I know that previous past Spencer would listen to and go, I would never listen to that, I now listen to. But since they're from Australia, they don't come here very often, and I was like, you know what?
That's awesome.
I've got to go. It's got to happen. And I stood in the back by the bar for most of the set, just going. I actually had some friends that went to the concert as well, so I hung out with them until.
Don't you hate it when your friends don't want to be up in the auction?
So we stayed back for everything until Amity Affliction came out, and then I just follow the masses of everybody that goes through when the pit starts, and I get myself right up in there.
That's how we do that quite often.
we
Which is
went and
shitty
saw-
because sometimes we are tall people and we're like, fuck you, this is not a concert that I'm sitting back for.
Yeah, no. When it's time to go, it's time to go.
I remember vividly we did it very well when we saw Falling in Reverse.
Was it Falling in Reverse or I Prevail?
There's a few. I Prevail we
definitely did because that was when Issues was there.
Yeah.
And Issues started their set, and I was like, all right, well, when it goes, you just gotta stay right behind me.
There was not a bad band.
No, that was a solid show.
And then Issues went, and we went, all right. And then the pit started forming. We were like, yeah, we're in the pit, and then we were also in front every time the pit ended. Oh, that was a great.
But for Amity Affliction, that was the first time I've ever like really been hurt in a pit. No one is actively trying to hurt. There was one guy that was doing what they call crowd killing. Yeah. But other than that, the way that I got hurt, it wasn't his fault. He was pushed. And he actually punched me like right here. I had a huge bruise, and he tore skin underneath there, and I bled all onto the shirt. Pretty hardcore things, honestly.
Yeah.
But I mean, I personally like going into the pit. That's how I relieve a lot of stress, a lot of anger, a lot of pent up stuff.
Do you have a specific shoes that you wear to be in pits?
I typically wear my boots every single time, just because people are stomping and.
Yeah, I have friends who have like pit vans, and they wear the specific pair of vans every time they go to a concert, and like there's stains from beer and like blood on them, and they just have them like, these are my pit vans. I only exclusively wear them for pits.
I don't have a shoe that I only wear for pits, but when I go to a concert, I wear the same every time because I need the support, and when people be stepping on your toes, they be stepping on your toes.
So my last concert, a little bit different than yours. I'm also a lesser known band. I went and saw a band called Mom Jeans.
Yeah, I've never heard of those before, other than the things that people wear.
Yeah, I really enjoyed them. I got to see them. They opened for Hobo Johnson when I saw him, and I just really liked them. And so they were coming. They were actually headlining their tour now. And so I went to see them, and it's a crazy story. So I go in, and it's a small little dark, like old church venue. I think it's called the Ballroom or Missionary Church. I think that's what it's called. And we were pretty close. We weren't very close because there was no real reason. We had a little balcony to lean against, but it was pretty long venue, like a church is long.
Apparently, Mom Jeans have just got added to Rock Band.
Did they really? Do you like them? They have a song called "What's Up." Sobs quietly. They have a whole thing that they have called Scott Pilgrim versus My GPA. That's one of their songs. But anyway, and then the guitar player of Mom Jeans, actually a lead singer in another band, and they were one of the openers, which is puts into theory one of my things that I want to do if I ever create a band is have like a huge 12-piece band, but like it's made up of like the three bands that opened.
Okay.
Yeah, wouldn't that be sick? Like you see this band, and then you see this band, and you see this band, and they all come together, and they're the band that you're here to see.
That'd be pretty cool. That'd be really tough, but
yeah, it'd be sick. And I'll play this song and find out. All right, thank you. So I saw them, and as the first people are playing, they're pretty decent. They weren't my favorite. There was only like I was there to see Just Friends, and which was the guitarist player's band, and Mom Jeans, and it was one of those things that I was doing okay. Worst I've ever prepared for a concert. I usually like always eat something and are hydrated, and none of that. We drove from Woodland Park all the way to Denver. We stopped at a dispensary that allowed you to vape and eat edibles inside. So I did both. Then we get to the hotel, and I'm not gonna lie to you. I haven't stopped smoking since we left Woodland Park. Really, it's Colorado. I was smoking all the time. It was just a thing. It's just a thing. Not a big deal. Don't look into it, people who are worried. And then we get to the concert that night. We walked there, and we smoke instead of vaping. We actually smoke on while we're walking down to get there, and we get in. And I'm feeling all right. We haven't eaten anything. I'll be honest with you. The last thing I ate was an edible, and that was 8 hours ago.
And that's just gonna make you more hungry eventually.
Yeah, that was 8 hours ago. And so I'm sitting there and I'm doing okay, but then it gets really, really hot. I'm there's people, it's crowded. I'm hot. I'm sweating so much. Then these guys, it's a no smoking venue, light up like 3 blunts in front of us, and all the smoke just covers like my face, and I'm like, I need to leave. I need to get out of this situation. Probably just I'm gonna throw up or something. So I started heading to the bathroom. As I start walking to the bathroom, I black out. I can't see, but I know enough to be like, I'm just trying to get to the bathroom. Can anyone lead me there? And I get dragged to the medical area, and there's just this guy who's like, what have you taken? What have you done? I'm like, dude, I've had 1 beer, and I'm like very high. Like, that's it, dude. Like, leave me alone. I'm not a cop. I don't care what you've done. And then when I finally come to, by the way, there's a cop standing right next to him. I don't know if he's paying attention to me, but I'm like, you're not a cop, but I feel like you were trying to trap me. I don't know. I haven't done anything. I don't do anything harder than the weed, I'll be honest with you. Or alcohol, depending on how you view which one's harder. But I'm like, dude, I'm just I smoked, and I had 1 beer. I just was very hot, and I would like water, please. And then they handed, don't chug it. If you chug it, I'm gonna kill you. It was I was like, oh, dude, and I come to, and I'm like, look, I'm good. And they're like, oh yeah, he was just dehydrated. He was just overheated. That was it. They just calm down. They're like, I recommend you don't drink anymore tonight. It's like, I honestly wasn't planning on it. And then the one girl was like, should we put X's on his hand so they know not to serve him alcohol? So me, a 23-year-old man, had to have X's on his hand like he's a child. And I'm like, what the heck? What if I wanted to go to a bar afterwards?
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's not cool. I wasn't going to drink. I'm not stupid. But anyway, and then they go, we're not going to let you back in unless the person you came with comes and gets you to take you back in. And I'm like, fuck. She's not going to look at her phone. The music's playing.
Yeah.
The band stops right as I text her, hey, can you please answer your phone? And then I call, and I'm like, you gotta come get me. And then I get back in. I get to see all the rest of the bands, and it was a great time. It was a great show. I loved it. But I got X's on my hands
Hey.
and I almost passed out.
How exciting!
Yeah, it really was. It really was.
Do you have any other shows that you have planned coming up?
I have one show planned coming up. It's actually birthday gifts from you actually.
The Wiz Khalifa Snoop Dogg
Yeah,
concert.
I'm gonna go see Wiz Khalifa and Snoop Doggy Dogg, man.
Snoop Doggy Dogg in the house. We're actually seeing Paramore in 2
Dude,
days.
that's so exciting.
Yeah. I've got a lot of really cool concerts lined up this year.
I just had a pair of friends who they live in Georgia. They went to see them, and it was one of their birthdays, and they got Haley Williams. She was like, "We're only singing half of it because it's copyrighted. So we got to sing half of Happy Birthday specifically to them."
That's cool.
Yeah,
That's really cool.
that is. I mean, like, there's nothing that's gonna ever top that story. But damn, I
got to strum the guitar from Enter Shikari.
You didn't lick it though.
I also got to hold up the guitarist from Don Broco once.
We also got to beach ball a member of Family Force 5.
I also got fist bumped by Spencer Charnas.
Dude, I got fist bumped by Ronnie.
Did you?
Yeah, I kept holding out my hand when we were there because we were all the way at the front. I kept holding up my hand.
I just want Ronnie to give me a mic stand.
And yeah, but no, he fist bumped me. I've actually, at the House of Blues, I've been able to get so many band members to fist bump me just by holding out my hand.
We're going to see both Ronnie and Spencer in about a month, less than a month.
That's
I'm very excited.
I mean, yeah, I got to see, I mean, you might not be a fan of them, but I got to see Young Gravy and Suicide Boys in the same concert, which, two different vibes.
I've heard of Young Gravy before. He's the one that,
fucks all the moms.
Sure,
Yeah.
but he's the, that's how his flow in the rap goes. He's more like mumbly, but not super mumbly, but also mumbly.
No, he's pretty clear. He's the one that goes like, Mr. Clean.
Oh, okay.
That's it. That's like basically his whole flow. Just change the word.
Okay.
Gravy Train.
Cool.
And he sings with Baby No Money. I really like Baby No Money. I like Baby No Money more than I like Young Gravy. These are all people you don't know, but I also got to see. But like Young Gravy is like sample an old song, Mr. Sandman, and like rap a little bit over it. And then there's Suicide Boys. You know who Suicide Boys are? They're like, I mean, they're just like heavy rap.
Okay.
And they have like a little triplet flow. But they're really, I like them. Oh, thank you. Excellent impression. And I don't know if you were saying that to Spencer or me, but thank you to either one. So I got to saw both of them at a drift event. I told you about this. I got to see cars drift. Yeah.
That's really cool.
Thank you. Yes.
So to kind of cap this off, then we've talked about our first as an adult, our most recent. What's been your favorite show? Like, what show stands out more than any other show?
I don't necessarily think I have one show that's my favorite, but I do have a favorite. I think I have like a favorite person I've seen. I have a lot of favorite shows. A lot of them are with you. I think all of them are with you, pretty much. But like one of my favorite concerts I've been to in terms of who I got to see is I got to see Logic with you.
Logic was really cool.
And he went like this, and I got the perfect picture, and he just tells me the time. And we got to see JID when at his very beginning, before he's now one of the best next rappers, blowing up. We got to see him when he was and there was two guys that opened. There was Corday and JID. I really like Corday. And I thought JID was my least favorite of all of them. And I mean, that just tells you something. Like, JID blew up. Corday has been he's really doing a lot. And then there's Logic, and I love Logic. He's one of my favorite rappers. Shout out to Logic. Please, Logic. I'm trying to be friends with you. Just be my friend, Logic. Just help me out a little bit, dude. I don't even need money. Just let's hang out one day. Let's Twitch let's do one of these. Be on the Two Brothers podcast, Logic. Just, I want your phone number. Is all I want. I want Logic's phone number. I won't even text you if you don't want. I just want to be able to FaceTime you randomly, and you don't have to answer. But if you did, that'd be sick. I just want to be like, I got Logic's phone number. I will never give it out. I just want to be your friend. I just want to hang out, man. Or if you bought me a house in Colorado, that'd be sick too. But we'll get there.
Cool.
So Logic, I really liked the Hobo Johnson concert because that was sick. That one was kind of like how the Hollywood Undead one was with all the setup, but like nothing was hidden. It was just a pile. It was just a mess. They were just like shit. They were using each other's equipment. It was just all right there. And I mean, Hobo Johnson has like 8 people in his band and like a trombone. They all dressed like one guy was like just in underwear. And one guy was in a basketball jersey and gym shoes. Like they were all their aesthetics are different.
Is Hobo Johnson ska?
No, Hobo Johnson's the guy you don't like because he's like pieces of spoken word poetry over a beat.
Oh, okay.
You don't like him.
Sure.
I've played him for you. You don't like him.
Fair enough.
So, but yeah, yeah.
Cool.
That's I guess Logic is my favorite concert just because you got it for me for my birthday. It was such an important person that I've wanted to see that I'm like, I'm never going to spend money on. And you were like, hey, let's go see Logic. And I also, I don't know, correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like I got you into Logic because I kept playing a lot of his stuff. And so you started listening to him more.
I think you initially are the one that introduced me to Logic. I've seen quite a few different things from Logic. I started watching these rap documentaries,
yes.
and Logic kept coming up into them, and I was like, all right, well, then maybe I gotta start listening. So I liked him just before he hit radio famous with the Suicide Hotline song, the 1-800 whatever. I liked him just before that started.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, cool. Good to know. I've got 2. For me, my number 1 concert going experience was the one that with Enter Shikari at the Social. Just the crowd interaction. It's a small venue. This band can for sure play a larger venue, but they prefer to do these smaller ones where it is a lot more intimate. They have a really good light show behind them. I love their music just in general. It's a really cool, everything that I've always liked in music all thrown together. But for me, it's not fully the number 1. It shares the same place as when I finally got to see Mike Shinoda when Mike Shinoda went and did his solo tour. But he is like my favorite artist. Linkin Park's my favorite band of all time, and out of Linkin Park, I've always preferred Mike Shinoda over it all because he does the producing, the writing, he sings, he raps, he plays guitar, he does it all.
You know what this song needs? A little.
He just does so much, and he's a big portion behind what Linkin Park was. He had the whole Fort Minor outbreak, and then he's done his own solo stuff. So to finally go and see him, backtracking only slightly to first concert that we paid for. The first concert that I was going to go to as an adult that I was going to pay for by myself was Linkin Park.
And you regret it, don't you?
Well, that show never happened because Chester had taken his life before it came through.
Yeah. Well, that wouldn't have been your first as an adult. That was.
I think it was.
No, because you had already seen Avenged Sevenfold. Because it was 2017 when he did that.
Was it that late?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Because
I didn't see a lot of concert as a kid.
We had been to a few concerts already, you and me.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, I wasn't an adult yet, but like.
But yeah, no, I never did get to see them live because of that. So seeing my
you were gonna see Blink 182, or
we were gonna do the Linkin Park.
Linkin Park, that's what it was. Yeah.
And then, Mike Shinoda pointed me out in the crowd, and he talked about how I was tall. And I was like,
he's short.
Yeah, he is not super tall. He's not short though. He's average.
Yeah, but he's not. I mean, he ain't really that tall. He got big ears. Mike Shinoda's got big ears and a really square face. I mean, it's like you can find Mike Shinoda in like a Where's Waldo book. You know what I'm saying?
I could. I don't know if anybody else could, but I could.
I mean, if you know what he looks like, he's like once you see him, you can't forget him. He's a really cool guy, but like he's got those distinct features that it's good for a celebrity, honestly.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Well, Spencer.
Yes, Logan.
We've learned a lot today.
I think we have.
We've learned a lot about bugs.
Bugs.
Learned a lot about ourselves.
For sure.
And we learned a lot about gumbo.
Gumbo, indeed.
This has been the Two Brothers Podcast.
Just two brothers.
And we appreciate everyone who's been here. Please come back. We're going to be back. Should be back regular on Thursdays again. This was just slightly different. We had a flight, and we wanted to meet in person for this Two Brothers Podcast. And I know there's no way anyone could actually tell that we were in the same room. Let's be honest. And we could be lying. Let's be honest. We could be.
We might be lying. Let me just check real fast to see if you are in this room.
Okay. I guess I'll check too.
Dude, I didn't see you anywhere.
I couldn't see you anywhere either. Well, thanks for joining in to the Two Brothers Podcast. I'm Logan.
I'm Spencer.
And we will see you next time.
Yeah. I don't know why you had to go. It's a lot to handle right now. And now you're gone. And this world's crazy without you. So this one's for you. Yeah, yeah. You were just 3 buildings, red, blue, and gray. Thought we'd be forever. Wish that you could stay. Looking for some ammo, man, we always knew the place. Till a rock from outer space came and blew all you away. Remember having shootouts right behind your shelves, and sneaking with my shotgun just to find some shells. Your doors were always open, I could find myself. But season 4 came in the blink of an eye. You fell, Dusty Depot. All that's left of you's a depot. Let's go back to season 3 though. You'll be in our hearts forever. R.I.P. bro. Oh, Dusty Depot. Yeah. Remember this like it was yesterday. Me and my squad, we finally get to play. Dropped a shifty, had to get away. I knew right where I would set my pace. Was on a mission, but you was missing. If Dusty Depot had some lips then I'd like to kiss them, but I'd only try to kiss them if they consented. But then the comet came and hit it. Now it's just a divot. Dusty Depot. Just 3 buildings in a neat row. I love them like they were people. Season 5, maybe the regrow. Oh, Dusty Depot.